Hello and welcome back. And normally on Saturdays, I do the Challenge All-Stars 3 power rankings for the week, but this was a weird week for the Challenge All-Stars 3, where we end off in episode 8. Only one person has left the game, and that was Veronica. Because of her toe, she had to be medically DQ'd, and then we get the start of eliminations, and we get the elimination matchups where Kayla called out KellyAnne. Nehemiah is going up against Derek in a pole wrestle variant called Light My Fire, but at this point, we don't know what's going to happen on the women's side of what are KellyAnne and Kayla really playing for. We're still waiting to see who's going to be eliminated between Derek and Nehemiah, but honestly, I thought, let's just do a finals preview. I wanted to do a finals preview. I was hoping for a clean cut going into the finals where maybe we would get to see who's making the finals officially before we're actually in the finals. But it looks like in episode 9, we're going to get the eliminations, a little bit of fluff, and then starting the finals. And what makes me confident about that is in the preview after episode 8, heading into episode 9, we see Jonna and Wes working with each other at one point in the finals. And it looks like Nia and Brad are also joined together, working together in the finals. So to me, they wouldn't show anybody in the finals unless they were in the finals and the finals was right next door. And I thought, let's just go through the players, what I think they could do in a final setting. Yes, even the players that could possibly be eliminated right before the finals. Let's just go over all of them because I got time. Let's just do it. And you never know. So let's start off with who I think will get 4th place in the finals. I really don't think that there is a difference on who wins this next coming elimination between Derek and Nehemiah. Personally, I'm rooting for Nehemiah. I want to see him make it to the finals again after what happened last season. I would love to see him back in the finals. But overall, on paper, I don't think it really matters on whether Derek or Nehemiah wins to make it into the finals and how many stars they have. I don't think it's going to be that much of a factor to push them over the edge over the other competitors that they're going to be having to go against. So honestly, I think Derek and Nehemiah could finish 4th place or last place in the finals when they're running these finals. Yes, you're going to say like, but what about Nehemiah, who won the first phase last season and had an opportunity to win the finals last season? He wasn't going up against any of these players last season in the finals. And Derek has won a couple of missions, right? But to me, there was something in his speech when he did not pick Wes and he decided he was going to pick Nehemiah because he wanted, quote unquote, the easier route. And at this point, there are no easy routes to the finals. So even if he wins against Nehemiah, we've seen Derek in, say, the Dirty 30 finals, where he had to go up against, yes, a very stacked men's side of those finals with CT and Jordan. But honestly, we saw him kind of like having to lean a lot on his partners. When there was puzzles, he really leaned on his partners. So I don't know how well he can do puzzle-wise. He did great this past week's daily challenge, but not everything's going to be a memory puzzle. And speaking of daily challenge performances, Nehemiah doesn't have anything to brag about. Yes, he said he was like, oh, well, I'm throwing these on purpose. There's no real big evidence that you're throwing these on purpose. So honestly, I think Derek and Nehemiah are on the lower end comparatively to who else are in these finals and who they're going to have to be going up against in these finals. On the women's side, I have to say Nia. I hate to say it, but she hasn't been performing well all season. She is, I think, the only woman left who has not won into power at all this season. And then her mental state, this past week's episode, not being able to jump out of the helicopter, she didn't seem all that into the game. I don't know. I'm not going to say that she was waving the white flag for surrender, but it just felt that way. At least mentally, it looked like she was just drained from the game and she was just trying to look for help. Many people were trying to help her out with Nehemiah and Brad coming to her, Jonna coming to her. Maybe because it looks like there's going to be partner segments during the finals that maybe she's going to be able to lock in and want to win for at least her partner. If she does not want to do it for herself, she doesn't want to like stop anybody else from winning. So, but I'm worried. I'm worried for Nia overall coming into these finals. Let's go to who I think could finish 3rd place. And at this point, I have Mark and Kayla. He's been pretty much crushing it with, like, say, trivia, getting second place. He won the ring toss when he got a little bit of help from everybody else. It was kind of given to him at one point. And then this past week's challenge with the memory puzzle, he was hanging out of that helicopter, no problem. The only worry is that has Mark really locked in and worked on his endurance since All-Stars Season 1. All-Stars Season 1 was the most recent final we've seen Mark in. He did kind of a good job, but when it came down to a very tough competition, he got 5th overall. Like, overall. Jonna beat him, KellyAnne beat him, Darrell beat him, Yes beat him. Luckily, Yes and Darrell are no longer in this game, but Jonna and KellyAnne are still here, and some other very stiff competition that I have above him are still in this game. So has Mark done enough to work on his endurance from All-Stars Season 1? Because before then, the last time we saw Mark in a final was the Duel 2, where he cut some deals and got 3rd place. Kayla, I have in 3rd place. She's kind of regressed a little bit in this season. I mean, early on when the treehouse was full in bloom, it was freshly built, it was sanded down, had a nice finish on it, and they were in power. I mean, Kayla was running this game. I mean, she was winning into power, she was getting a lot of help, but now as the treehouse has slowly started to fall apart, and now she is one of the only players left from the treehouse alliance, with Derek in the elimination as well. I mean, I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel very strongly about Kayla in the finals. I think she has good endurance. I think she can be physical, but we know her not to be a very strong competitor when it comes to puzzles and memory as well. So maybe as they're working together during these finals in a partner portion, maybe if there's a really big puzzle, maybe she's going to be hit with a puzzle king to help her get farther into this game and push her past certain levels. But as a solo player, I worry for Kayla in these finals, and I just think that 3rd is about where I would have her in. She really did not seem all there this past week's daily challenge, where she kind of was just like, well, I don't know this memory thing, whatever. But that's where I have Mark and Kayla. Let's go on to who I think could get number 2, and this was difficult. Figuring out between 1 and 2 for me on both the men and the women were a little bit of a struggle for me, right? I'm going to start off with the women. I'm going to go with KellyAnne. KellyAnne, I think, has a very strong chance to take these finals. Kind of like the opposite of Kayla. KellyAnne was struggling early on in these seasons, especially with that star puzzle. And now look at her. She's coming in more confident than ever. She's always been against the house. The house has been against her. Yet she is still here, and she is a very strong competitor. We heard from Jonna this past week that KellyAnne tied with her to getting 3rd place overall in All-Stars Season 1 finals. And that's really big. That's strong because that final was tough, and it was pretty recent. So I think KellyAnne is going to be coming in as a real strong contender to possibly win, especially if she can get the right partners at the right time during these finals, if they're switching out partners during these finals. I have no idea what the finals is going to look like, but if KellyAnne can play her cards right, I think she could have a real shot at winning this thing. Brad has been crushing it this season with the daily challenges. He's won the most out of anybody in this competition. I feel like he's getting a strong winner's edit. We've seen him a lot talking about his family, what this challenge season means to him, what the money would mean to him. But kind of like what I was saying about Kayla, Brad has had a really strong presence early on, and now he's kind of like fallen back a little bit. Now, I will say that Brad has been in a very strong social and strategic positioning in this game for a long time, because once Jordan was eliminated from the game, Brad really didn't have to win to be safe. And I feel like he kind of just wanted to go on the relax position instead of burning bridges with players and possibly putting them into elimination and into danger, which could blow up his spot in the game. So I'm not going to hold that against him too much, but I do think that Brad does get paranoid in this game and tends to overthink things a lot. Like, he really did not do well with that puzzle in this past week's daily challenge. Trivia was just completely bad. But when you come to math problems, he's got it on lock. He seems to be very strong. He seems to have endurance. I think that Brad really does have a good shot of winning this if he can keep his head and keep focus. But we've seen Brad in pressurized situations not do as well as who I have ahead of him, which let's just get to number 1, and that is Wes and Jonna. Jonna is a strong competitor. I think she is the best overall competitor in this game. Now, she is coming in as the past season's champion. She's made it to 2 All-Stars finals back-to-back now, possibly back-to-back-to-back, three-peating in these finals. And like I mentioned with Jonna and KellyAnne, KellyAnne tied with Jonna for 3rd place in All-Star Season 1. Now, I will say that was when Jonna, at that point, had a kid recently, and she wasn't in the best of shape, but now look at her in this season. She's in the best shape she's been in this whole All-Stars trilogy, and she has the most confidence she's ever had in these All-Star trilogies. She is coming in hot, she's coming in passionate, she is strong with these puzzles, as she can see. She doesn't get mentally flung. I mean, just think about this daily challenge. She had to jump out of this helicopter. She had to swim a long distance. But in that long distance swim, she did not get super tired. She did not get fatigued. She did not get frantic when putting together this puzzle. She just stayed calm, cool, and collected, put the puzzle together. She even memorized that whole puzzle. And then she was confident when Wes was like, "How much of the puzzle do you think you got correct?" And she was just like, "All of it?" "Really?" "Yeah." And she was the only person on the women's side to get it completely correct. I just think Jonna coming into these finals is the best overall. And after winning, she has a lot of momentum going into the finals. On the opposite end, on the men's side, I think Wes is a very strong competitor once making it to the finals. Derek, Nehemiah, and Mark have all seen a finals more recent than the last time Wes saw a finals, which was War of the Worlds, season 33. But I will say that I think Wes's experiences on War of the Worlds finals trumps what Derek, Nehemiah, and Mark have seen on the All-Stars finals, which were more recent. I will still say, hands down, War of the Worlds is one of the toughest, if not the toughest finals ever. And Wes got 3rd place. Only behind Turbo, who is a beast, and Theo Campbell, who is also a beast, an Olympic athlete beast. And Wes came in 3rd place. My gosh, he was going up against players way younger than him, and he got 3rd place. And I would say Wes is in even better shape this season than he was in War of the Worlds season 33. Can Brad surpass Wes? Yes, he can. Do I think it could happen? Possibly. I think Brad has been playing an excellent game this whole season. I think Brad has been doing a masterclass this whole season, getting this far and possibly making it into the finals with a lot of momentum behind him in his performances of the season. I just think that Wes has the ability, once in the finals, to always win a finals. So at this point, that's what my order is of everybody heading into these finals and where everybody could land. After these finals are said and done and everybody has crossed the finish line, this is what I think the finals could look like. This is what my mind is thinking about as we're moving towards the finals in the finals preview, possibly starting the finals in episode 9. But that is it for these All-Star 3 finals preview. What do you think about everything I said? What do you think about my analysis of all the players, where I have every player ranked and where I think they will finish? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you disagree, let me know your order and your thought process down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say as we're heading into the finale of this season, heading into the finals and what the finals could look like and what all the players could do. Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I really, really appreciate it. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge All-Stars content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.